Passion or perfection? Passion or perfection? This is a question asked at one of our most recent contests. Fortunately, I didn't get to answer that question. It's always the questions that I actually have an answer for that I never get picked to give that response. But I've given it a little thought since then, not only as it applies to life, but as it applies to Toastmasters as well. And so I'm here to give you the answer. The answer is, of course, it's passion. Passion is more important than perfection. The pastor at the church that I go to, he must say, you know, 20 times during his speech every week. If you're one of the Toastmaster Nazis, which I've been guilty of doing, where you're watching people speak or watching somebody on the news and saying, haha, what an idiot, he just said, Well, the guy in the news is making like $5 million sitting on the couch, right? So who is the idiot? But 3,000 people come to listen to my pastor every week. Why do they come? Because he's passionate about the message that he has. He's talking about things that are important to their lives. It may not be technically perfect, but he's passionate about it, and people care about listening to him speak. And I compare that to a couple months ago, we had a guest in our group that came, and it was our guest grammarian. And the grammarian, she could talk circles around my pastor in terms of proper grammar. And yet, she was so antiseptic, and when I say antiseptic, I mean pompous, that I wouldn't want to listen to her speak for 5 minutes. So what is the difference? Well, one is passionate about what he's talking about. The other, although technically right, doesn't make a difference because nobody wants to hear it. I'm going to let you in a little secret. People don't show up for grammar. People don't pay for grammar. People pay to listen to passion. 3,000 people will come to listen to passion. 3,000 people aren't going to a grammar seminar. At least I hope not. That would be strange, right? The second thing I thought about was as I was listening to the radio, a lot of the music that I listen to, none of the musicians or bands that I listen to are what you would call musically perfect. Anybody like Bruce Springsteen or Tom Waits or my favorite Neil Young, if you listen to him, none of them can make the first cut of American Idol. And yet, as far as I'm concerned, you can keep your Whitney Houstons or Mariah Careys or anybody that you would say has a perfect voice or a perfect musician, and I'm not really interested in listening to their music because, to me, they don't really exude that passion that I want to hear. One song that I was listening to on the CD today, it was actually a live recording, and the musician introduced it. It's a song called Love Letter, and he introduced it and says, the song is called Love Letter, and it is a love letter designed to win the girl. Now, the grammarian that we would have would be over here shaking the pig going, that's 10 cents. He said, it. But the imperfection, like a freckle on a woman's face, the imperfection is what makes it perfect and beautiful. And it just added to the beauty of the song that he was singing by that introduction, because you could tell that he meant what he was saying, that it was about somebody, and it wasn't perfect. The reason why I'm giving this speech today is it seems like we've had a lot of cancellations in our speakers. I think we had 3 cancellations today. And I know that life gets in the way of Toastmasters. You certainly don't want to lose your job because you're preparing a speech and then have to go out and go on job interviews like we're talking about. But I think my suspicion is, more often than not, people will back out on their speech because they don't feel like they've prepared enough. Or perhaps they procrastinated too much, and then they don't feel that their speech is perfect enough to come and give during our group. And I know what you're thinking, what if it's not perfect? What happens? Well, yes, what happens? What happens if you don't give a perfect speech? Well, the meeting's over. You go next door and have a beer. That sounds okay to me. Now, I've gone through the manual. I've given my speeches. I understand the technical aspects of a speech. I can give an organized speech. I can make you laugh. I can use my body language. I can use vocal variety to make you listen to me. But the one thing that I've learned that's been most important from Toastmasters is that you people don't scare me anymore. And I don't mean that I don't think some of you are still weird. But I mean, you don't scare me anymore. I can get up here and give a talk and not worry about being perfect. The only way you learn that is through repetition, trial and error. And so what I would encourage people to do, if you sign up for a speech, follow through. Don't worry about being perfect and giving that perfect speech. I'm not here wanting you to be perfect or expecting you to be perfect. I'm just interested in what you have to say. Madam Toastmaster.